God bless everyone out there in Radio Land. This is Barry and Karen coming to you from Embrace Marriage Ministries. And we thank God for you joining us today on our tonight on our podcast, which is Dare to Be Different podcast. And we're coming to you uh, tonight just with our new schedule, I guess you can say. I know we haven't been doing a whole lot of podcasts, so we decided to really get on the grind and do them because we know we haven't been. So we thank you for your patience with us and the everything like that, and we pray you continue to pray for us that we will continue to do this and to bring content that will be a blessing to people, so that can be enriched and they can be uh, empowered to be able to live the life that God called them to live. So we again we thank you for joining us on these different platforms. On Thank you for joining us on Twitch and also on Mixer, Periscope, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Thank God for each and every one of you. If you're seeing us, let us know you're there and join us in the discussion that we're going to have tonight. And we're going to talk about a few things, but mainly we're going to talk about put it in the description on in the YouTube exactly what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to be talking about, the title is actually it's time to get up, and it came out of the discussion that we had about an experience that I had. um, well, something that I noticed, an observation. I wouldn't say experience. I say an observation. It was an observation that was that I had uh, that really brought this to light. Um, I was on my way home from church, from work, church, on my way home from work, and I happened to notice this couple who was walking across the path when I was when I was at the light. Well, they walked across, and it was a couple. It was an interracial couple, and it was a black guy, and it was a white lady, and she was pregnant. Looked like she probably was maybe 5 or 6 months pregnant, but maybe further along than that. And they were pushing a cart, and so my holier than thou self sit there, and I was like, well, at first I kind of judge them, because the fact is that I'm not gonna lie, I did judge them, because we see this a lot. We see a lot of these people, especially couples and these guys, uh, drag these young ladies, and they don't have homes, they don't have places to stay, they're just up and down homeless basically, and now you're homeless with a child.
Mm-hmm.
And the comment that came to me, the comment I made actually was, how sad it was that, and then she out there pregnant, letting this guy just drag her around. But then I realized, I say, you know what? I say some people um, might run. Some people have a choice to get up,
Right.
and but the but there are some cases where people have run into a real bad situation in life, and their lives are they really can't get up. But there are some cases where there are people out there that actually can, if they choose to, live a better life than the life that they're living now.
Mm-hmm.
They have made the choice to live this way, and therefore, because of the choices they've made, this is the reason why they're in the situation they're in. So I said so, and on top of that, the scripture that came to me um, when I was talking about that, was in John 5. I'm bring that up right quick. Um, there we go. John 5. And then I'm gonna read it. My wife was reading it amplified. I think that's why I'm gonna read it in, because it was interesting how John, how he brought it out in that text.
Hello, Jeremy.
Hey, Jeremy, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream, to the podcast. As a matter of fact, John, what is 5? Okay, John 5. It's the story of the man in the pool of the Bethesda. Bethesda was a place where um, they had all these different sick people that was there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let me I forgot to change the translation. So I'm gonna make it big so I can see it. All right, and yeah, we're gonna look at it in amplified, because, like I said, I like that classic. That's what you was reading.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and go back to that again. It's John 5. Like I said, it's the story of the man in the pool Bethesda. So, trying to get so I can see it, see us. All right, all right. Say later on there was a Jewish festival feast for which Jesus went up to Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
See, now there in Jerusalem was a pool near the Sheep's Gate, and this pool was getting called in Hebrew Bethesda, had 5 porches, alcoves, colonnades, or doorways.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what that word meant. See, in these lay a great number of sick folks, some blind, some crippled, some paralyzed, shriveled up, waiting for the bubbling up of water. For an angel went down at appointed seasons into the pool and moved and stirred the water. Whoever then first, after stirring up of the water, stepped in was cured of whatever disease which he was afflicted. There was a certain man there who had suffered with a deep-seated and lingering disorder for 38 years. Jesus knows him lying there helpless, knowing that he had already been there a long time in that condition, said to him, "Do you want to become well? Are you ready? Are you really in earnest about getting well?"
Mm-hmm.
The invalid answered, "Sir, I have nobody when the water is moving, to put me in the pool. But when I'm trying to come into it myself, somebody steps down ahead of me." Jesus said, "Get up,
Mm-hmm.
pick up your bed, the laying pad, and walk." So the rest of the story, y'all know, he did that. Now, here's the kicker.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the interesting thing about this story. The fact is that number one, a lot of people when they read this story, they think that this man was crippled. They read it as though he was crippled because he figured, well, hey, he wasn't moving for 38 years, maybe he's crippled. Well, the scripture never said he was crippled. They just, according to this one, the Amplified said he had a long, a real deep-seated and lingering condition. He had something going on with him that constantly kept him from making this step into getting better.
Right.
But I remember my wife she can share her thoughts on this before everything wears off. But what happened? What my perspective of it is when I started looking at the different things that like you see a lot of people who are around who you look at and they have pretty good health, and you're wondering why are they not going out and trying to do better for themselves. Now, I know the scriptures talks about, and Jesus said this, he said, the poor you will have with you always. There are going to be cases where you have people who are less fortunate, who have ran into situations where they can't really get up in the situation and do better for themselves, whether they have mental issues or they've been incarcerated for long periods of time, and then now it's difficult for them to get jobs. Hey, how's it going? How's it going, Minecraft? Welcome to the podcast. Now, but then there are some cases where you've seen some people who are in pretty good health. Thank you. Who are in pretty good health, who are in pretty good shape. They're in their right mind. They have all the strength. How you know they're in pretty good health? They will stand out there, rain, sleet, snow, cold, hot, holding a sign. Now, if you can stand out there, thanks for the follow. If you can stand out there that long and bring my little man down so I can see him. Sorry, y'all. Shifted everything now. Yeah, but so if you got that kind of strength to do all that, then guess what? I mean, in a lot of people's mind, we figure, well, hey, if he got that kind of strength, then why won't he go and find some kind of work? Well, like I say, everybody's condition, their situation is different, and so you really don't know what's going on with them, and we really can't make the judgment call because a lot of people have reasons why. But there are some people who have gotten adjusted.
Right.
To living that way. And the problem with that is when you become adjusted to living a life is less than what God has planned for you, you tend to just stay in that kind of vein. You tend to run that track until you die. It's a mindset.
Yes.
Because the fact is that if you go out there with the mindset that I'm going to panhandle for the rest of my life, and believe me, some people do pretty good panhandling. I'm not knocking panhandling. I mean, you got to look at it like this. They're doing something, but they could be doing something that'll be more productive for the society that they live in, and also for the person that, especially if they have other people involved. Like this case of this guy I just mentioned in the beginning of the stream. He's got this lady with him, plus he has a kid. Okay, and I know that's his kid because he with her. So now this situation is no place for a child to be, because you already know what's going to happen. If you don't have a stable residence, you have a child, you don't have a stable home for this child. Of course, Child Protective Services is going to come along and see this. Somebody's going to report it. Somebody, Child Protective Service is going to get involved. Then the child is going to be taken away from the parent because they feel like it's an unsafe environment. Instead of him thinking this, they're going to go drag up down the street. No, you got to consider this. Sometimes you got to look, it's more about just about you. It's about the people around you.
Right.
That you have to consider.
Yeah. And yeah, because like say, because when I was reading the scripture,
Mm-hmm.
Um, and what jumped out at me was, how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
Because I was looking at the fact that he said by the pool, um, all these years, making excuses,
Mm-hmm.
and he just looked like he just got comfortable, excuse me that word, with the, with the excuses that he was making, every time that the water was stirred, that everybody got ahead of him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, and like I said, we was discussing earlier. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, it don't sound like he was desperate enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't seem like he was desperate because usually, I was talking about, he wasn't he had no plan of action. He had no strategy. He just had
Mm-hmm.
nothing planned. I
Yeah.
mean, he wasn't even trying to say, okay, well, about this time next year, hey, I might try to get a little closer. I might try to, do. He had nothing. He had no plan, no goal, no nothing. Where he was going to even try to get up out this situation and try to at least get to the water.
Mm-hmm.
And even in life,
Yeah.
you ask yourself, well, why are these people in this condition, or why they in that condition, or why they going through this, and why they dealing with that, and some people just they find this comfort in misery, and they just find this, like, they just like to, I'm not gonna say like to, but that's how it looks sometimes, like, why you're not trying to better yourself, or do better, instead of just making one excuse after another one. And to me, I'm like, you need to sometime get desperate enough to want to change,
Yeah.
to do better,
Mm-hmm.
because we say it all the time, not just only homeless people.
Mm-hmm.
I see sick people, um they like this glory in sickness,
Mm-hmm.
just this glory in it all the time, and and not trying to, like they just want people just, I've seen people fake sick just to get people just to come around them, and every time I turn around, they sick, they sick, they sick, they sick. And I'm like, well, no, this is, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
you done found comfort, just like they did at the pool of, how you say the word, Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
Like they found it in that place. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, you have to come out. And we was
Mm-hmm.
talking about earlier how you need to come out in your mind.
Yeah.
It comes, in your mind.
Yeah.
And we're gonna, kind of, we was just sharing a little, how we was talking to each other about how I got stuck,
Mm-hmm.
in different situations. And I think when we had went through just a little testimony how we had went through a little bit, in our marriage. And I would always, just using for example, I would always say the hurt, I'm hurt, I'm hurt, I'm hurt, I'm hurt, I'm hurt, this saying this, like this repeatedly.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to realize, okay, you are stuck. You just like that little man at the pool of Bethesda. You just is stuck. Just got stuck in that place. And
Mm-hmm.
then with, trying to come out of it, when trying to do nothing different, trying to say nothing different, just stuck. So when the Lord had to deal with me, He said, stop saying that,
Mm-hmm.
because it's coming to pass, it's happening, and every time you say it, it's manifesting and manifesting and manifesting. So I had to stop, I had to stop saying it,
Yeah.
and I started getting different results.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
The thing is that um what we what we want to get across to you is that what it's saying is that you do have to have a mind
Mm-hmm.
to want to improve. And but like I said, there are certain situations that will keep that from happening a lot of times,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people, they're not able to uh, make that transition.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that, like I said, there is a mindset that comes with it, that you
Mm-hmm.
have to say, okay, this is the way I want to be,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to make these steps or take the necessary steps to change.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can either live for the rest of your life on handouts and freebies, or you can work hard and try to achieve something that will be not only a blessing to those around you, but also to you.
Right.
because it's a matter of you. It got to be a matter of personal pride, really. You have to be proud of what you've accomplished in life, not in a sense of pride, but a sense of knowing that, hey, I've done something that was beneficial to those, not only to myself but those around me. The only reason why success comes is because of the fact that we are looking for the opportunities, and you have to know them when they come. And so a lot of people get the opportunities to be able to do better, but they take it and they'll say, well, like, say for example, uh, when we live in a housing complex, they had opportunities for people to go and try to get their GED, try to get better, try to go and get hooked up with the workforce and try to get into the workforce and try to just improve. But I said like this, and I was talking to one of the ladies that was involved, because we was like part of the neighborhood council or whatever they had at the time, and I gave her my perspective of how a lot of these people think. I said it's really, it's like fleas. It was crazy analogy, but this is the best analogy that I heard about how people are capped off, and they never are allowed to go any higher than the lid. And it was an experiment that people had done for conditioning. That's basically what it was. What they did, they put fleas in a jar that was so high. Now fleas, big small as they are, they can. What I read, I said they can jump a vertical jump about 6 feet. That's pretty good for a flea. Okay, that means they can jump from the ground and jump on you. That's how they get on stuff. They got real good jumpers. So they took all these fleas and put them in a jar that was probably about a few inches high. Which and they put them in a jar. It's not for them. You jump out, they left it open, and they all jumped out, because you jump 6 feet, few inches ain't nothing. But then all of a sudden, they put the fleas back in there. I don't know how they did to keep. Number one, I don't know how they got them in the first place. So they put them back in the jar, and they put a lid on it. And they put the holes they breathe, and they put lids on it. So when they put the lid on it, the fleas would attempt to jump again, but they hit the lid. And every single time they would hit the lid, it would hurt them, because they were hitting the lid, hitting their heads on the lid, trying to jump out. So all these fleas were jumping and hitting this lid, and they let them do that for a certain time, and they took the lid off, and the fleas would only jump as high as the lid. They only jump so high. And I told them, say, that's kind of how it is around here, because we have capped them at a certain place and say, this is the only thing that you can make. In order for you to be able to stay in this condition, in this place, you have to make this much amount of money. You can't have too much. You can't have too much income. Your bills can't be so much. You can't have 2 jobs. You can't be working and doing this and making. You only have a certain income bracket that will work. This is your lid. You gotta be less than below poverty level. This is your lid.
Yeah.
And this is how you get the benefits, because if you above that, then your benefits get cut off. That's your lid. And I told them, I said, basically, this is what's happening. They've been lidded. They've been conditioned to believe that this is as high as they can go, whereas they can actually have the ability to go higher than that.
That's it.
But they've been hitting that lid for so long that that's as far as they're going to go. And when you show someone that is able to jump 6 feet, that has been jumping 4 inches, that they have the capability to jump higher than that, it's hard for them to be reconditioned to jump higher than the lid, because they've been doing it for so long. You got people who's been generationally lidded up. They've been generational, been capped off.
Yeah.
Generational. They've been in the same hitting the lid all those years. That's what I should have called it, hitting the lid all those years. And they never go any higher than that. They will they will never buy a home. They will rent for all the rest of their life. They'll be on welfare all the rest of their life. Their children be on welfare. Their grandchildren be on welfare. They'll be living in the same housing complex for 2, 3 generations. They'll never own a piece of land. They'll never own their own car. They'll always rent. They'll always be in debt. They'll always be like this because of the simple fact is that they've been led off to believe that if I stay at this certain income, I can live here as long as I can. I can get welfare, I can get food stamps, I can get all these nice little things, and then all of a sudden, they raise the lid. So now when they raise the lid, they figure, well, hey, there's no top, well, still. I've been conditioned to jump so high, so they ain't gonna jump past the rim. But they have the capability of doing that.
That's it.
But so it takes someone around them to teach them that they can jump higher than the lid. And my wife's a perfect example of that, because when I met her, she was single with 5 kids under the lid.
Right.
My wife was under the lid for a while, and she couldn't really, and it kept under the lid for long because she had to stay somewhere, and so that was the bondage that she was under, because she had to have a home,
Right.
and they kept on this lid for so long.
And then it also it brought about a fear.
Yeah, it did bring a fear.
It'll bring a fear of because some people have a fear of success.
Yeah, that's it.
And it brought about a fear because I had I had 5 kids. I was living it's a program where they have a housing authority where they help you. It's for low income. And it's basically for low income. If you get Social Security, SSI, any kind of monthly benefits, and it'll handicap you. I done seen people that get opportunities, like you said, to move out and to do better, and they would just be stuck.
Yeah.
And like I say, and it almost happened to me because I was on it, and like I say, and I was stuck. I didn't I wanted to do better, but I didn't want to lose the benefits.
Yeah.
Because they paid the rent, for us, so we didn't have to worry about rent. Only thing we had to do was just worry about and at the time it was like all utilities, all bills, so they basically paid everything for you.
Yeah.
So you can find comfort in that place. And I mean, and that's what I did. I was in my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Hey, everything paid. I'm comfortable. I'm relaxed. I make enough for me and my kids. We happy. We was getting.
Then she met me.
Yeah, I had a mind to. I had jobs off and on, and
yeah, but she worked, but
but you could only work and make so much money.
That's it. Still was
so it's still bondage because I was able to work, but they give you according to how many kids you have, how much they'll pay, pay towards your rent, and then they give you a utility check and all this stuff.
Which wasn't that really.
No, and so it was bondage, and it kept me and God bless my husband. He wanted to start a business. This is a little short testimony. So he wanted to start his own little business, and
yeah, because I come and before you start that story, when I come into now my situation was different because my mom, even though she never the only time that we was actually in a housing complex was before I left here, when I was living the same one she was living in when they were younger. And so we stayed there maybe a few months, and we moved to Louisiana, and we stayed in the house. I always was in the house from the day that I was born, except for that time. And never in the house. And we was in a house in Louisiana. We came Beaumont. We was in the house. We stayed in the house when I was young. So I didn't know anything about being. I knew she rented it, but she rented a house, but she never was in an apartment. And so my house had a car. And so because she was single too at the time, so she was single mother, raised me and my brother. And so she had always kept a car, but she always would she was on benefits was different then when they were young when they were getting it versus now. But then it really made a difference because it was different. But yeah, we was under that. But my mom pretty much she was kind of industrious, so she found different ways to go and make money besides being on that. And so, but she was up in she was getting survivors from my dad. My dad had passed, so he was still getting his Social Security, so they get survivors back in the day. Some of them still do. You got it till you a certain age. Me and my brother. And she was getting it too. Then she married my stepfather. He was like 70. He was in his 70s when she married him. So he was basically getting it so their money basically then back in the 80s, it was money. And so, but I always had a mind myself that I wasn't going to live like that. Because I come under that too, but I was like, So when I got older, I started getting into wanting to get these different businesses and different. I had a mindset to believe that I knew that was better. I had a better, it's something better than this.
Right.
I didn't want to live like that because it limits you and it makes you only be, this is as far as you can go, like I said.
Yeah.
So when I met her, I had that mindset. I wanted to, succeed as a business person because I had that mind. I wanted to do something that was entrepreneurial and that was to be successful and bring her out of this and bring me out of it too. I had a fear of success as well because I had been ingrained in it, and it wasn't because of her. When I was raised, it was because when I was in the church, I was taught that I couldn't have that. So when I was taught that way, then I was like, when I get a certain amount of money, I was like, oh Lord, I can't. They taught you not to be rich, or not to have a lot of money. Period.
And which is far from true.
It's far from true. But so I come along, and this is the story she talking about. One time we was starting a business, and this was how her reaction to it goes. We was wanting to start a business.
So he wanted to start a business. And I think at the time we were in the house.
Yeah,
we were on housing, and they were still paying the rent. So they was paying all the rent, and I think all thing we had was like the utilities to pay.
Yeah, I did that for like 3 years.
Yeah, so
we had 3 years of rent
paid. So like I say, like that man at that pool of Bethesda, that was me.
Yes.
That was me all day long. I was just laying on that porch comfortable. Making excuses and everything under the sun why he should not start a business. So, and a big fear, I mean, it came over me like you would not believe. I'm like, well, if he start a business, now this goes to show you how the enemy, it was in way of thinking. Your way of thinking is your way of life.
Yeah.
And so my thinking was all, that fear came. And I was like, oh God, if he get a business, and start a business, and then he start making this amount of money, they gonna cut off. That was my thinking, poor mouth, old poverty mindset, looking for a handout, and wanting stuff, instead of thinking differently.
Yeah.
Me, I'm stuff. They gonna fear came. They gonna cut off they not gonna pay the rent no more. Who gonna pay the rent? Not having no faith in God.
Yeah, none.
No faith in God, because at the time, I was my faith wasn't where it is now. Because back then I would worry about how we gonna pay for this, how we gonna pay that. We need money for this. We need money for that. So I was a true fan of worry and fear. So when I started getting in fear, I started worrying. Well, okay, how we gonna pay the rent? And how we gonna pay this and how we gonna pay that? If he start the business, they gonna cut off the housing, the food stamps gonna go down, and this gonna go down because he taking away from my comfort, and this is my comfort, and hey, I'm comfortable with this, hey, I'm at ease, and this and that, and I had learned how to manage and budget that little bit, and not knowing that God wanted better.
Yeah,
He wanted better. And even though He wanted better. For me, this is not the lifestyle that he wanted for us. But I allowed fear
Yeah.
to come in and with all this old negative and poor mouth thinking and poverty
Mm-hmm.
minded thinking that I couldn't have better or do better.
That's it.
So because my faith and my trust wasn't in the right place,
Mm-hmm.
I was trusting in the housing and him keeping a job, not
Yeah.
starting your own business.
Keep the job.
You
Yeah.
keep you do the 9 to 5, 'cause to me that's comfort, and that's hey, you getting a payroll check, and so I'm in my comfort. Hey, I'm laying at the pool up at Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, so he did try several businesses, and a few of them you had tried. He always was willing to stretch out,
Yeah.
whether it would succeed or fail.
Mm-hmm.
He would try to get
Yeah.
in the water. And he would try, and that fear would be like, oh God, I mean that fear just.
Cause I had, cause I had this was my philosophy. I rather fail at trying than trying not. Well, I rather fail trying than to try and I'd rather fail at not trying. Yeah,
No.
and I rather try and fail than to fail to try, basically. So that was the mindset I had. I say I'm gonna say at least try it, and if I fail, at least I can learn from it.
Yeah,
I
at
say
least not.
better.
Yeah, at least
Yeah,
you,
well, at
you
least
wouldn't.
or
You wouldn't not. At least you wouldn't try. You would try and not try at all.
Yeah, yeah. It's better to just try and fail than to fail to try. Because a lot of people, that's where they are. They failing to try, and they if you a lot of things everything involves some kind of level of risk, and you're going to have some cases where you're going to feel like there's going to be a loss in the situation. But if you got to trust, and this is where you have to really have faith and trust God that He's going to take care of you, even if you make the attempt and you don't succeed. But you can't have people in your life that will try to kill that, and try to kill that dream, and try to kill that vision, and try to make you look like or believe that you can't fulfill it.
Right.
When they get to telling you that, you ought to show them that this is what God is doing, and this is how He's going to do it with me, and I'm going to succeed at this. So
Right.
no matter what they say, it doesn't matter really about what they say. It's a matter of what you say to yourself. That if you tell yourself that you're not going to succeed, then guess what? You're not going to.
No.
So, but we want to continue to start on tomorrow. But like I said, we're going to continue to start. We're going to work this a little bit more. Like I said, just continue to pray for us that we continue to do this, because I want to do more of our podcasts. Like I said, we've been streaming, but that's good and well and whatnot. But I want to do more as podcasts because, like I said, I want to be, and also want to get your input. If you have subjects or you have things that you want us to share or talk about, you can go to our website, embracingmarriagetogether.com. You can /contact. You can send us a question or a topic that you would like to us go with, or you can leave it in the comments, or where each of these platforms. You can leave them there. We get them. And let us know, hey, this is something that I would like us to talk about. Now, it got to be something that we can talk about.
Yeah.
Something that's going to help everybody else. Don't get over weird stuff. You can ask us anything. Now, mind you can ask us anything. We'll be able to answer it we'll answer the question. So if you have questions, you have concerns, or you have prayer requests or whatever, you go to that website I just mentioned, embracingmarriagetogether.com /contact. And you'll be able to go there and leave that message there. We'll get the message. We always do. Also, leave us a comment. Leave us a comment. Let us know what we're doing. If we like it, if you don't, we need to straighten something up, because we having issues with our green screen, as you can see.
Yes,
It's different when I'm trying to do it with me and her versus just me, because the actual screen is kind of made for just one person. So I got to tweak it so it looks like something. So but I'm thinking that I can pretty much post production. I can probably do something with it. I don't know. But anyway, it looks weak. As long as you can see us, that's good. So don't worry about that other stuff. But on that note, we're gonna go ahead and go. Like I said, we thank God for each and every one of you on Twitch and Mixer, Facebook Live, also on Periscope, and we also also YouTube Live. Thank God for you just joining us. And if you want to get an audio version of this, because we do an audio version of these podcasts, you can go to we're on Spotify. It'll be on Embrace Marriage. I'm gonna change the name because it's too long, but I'm gonna put Embrace Marriage Ministries, but it's actually Embrace and Marriage Together. Dare to Be Different. You can go there, and we're on Spotify if you listen to Spotify. We're also on Google Play, and where else we at? Podbean actually is where we're hosting it. So the link to it is on our website. If you go to our website, the link to this podcast, the audio version, will be on our post. So you go to the post, and that's where. Excuse me.
Periscope.
I just mentioned
You
all
meant
of
the Periscope?
them. I mentioned all of them.
You did?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
She used to be doing it a certain way. I'm gonna do it like she used to me doing it. If you're looking at us on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. If you're looking at us on Periscope, hit us with some hearts. Let us know what you think of us. If you're looking at us on Facebook, leave a comment there. Also YouTube and Mixer and Twitch, where you can follow us there. Thank you for the new follow from Minecraft.
Yes.
Thanks to Jeremy coming through. Hope everything's going in with him and Timmy. Hadn't seen him in a while. So God bless each and every one of you. Let my wife say her last words, and we're going to get out the way.
Yes, and on that note, we'd like to thank you all for joining us on tonight. And I would like to say embrace God, embrace love, embrace family, and dare to be different.
God bless y'all. We'll see y'all on the next.
Good night.